In this video, I'm going to be talking about pieces of 8, the currency that you're going to get in the end game, how to do the Helm, how to do the Empire. We're going to talk about everything in this video. So first thing you should know is that this takes place at both of the dens in the game. So this is going to be the one at St. Anne over here, and also the other one to Loch Pinjara at the top right of the map. Both of these dens have their own helm, and they're both different from each other. You make different things at each one, so don't only do one. Now on the dens, you can actually find the helm by this icon over here. You can see it's got the whale with the squid head in it, pretty much the same as the logo for Skull and Bones. But you'll also be able to teleport to it by using the key at the bottom right of the screen when you're walking around on the den. You can see it says hold C for PC. On console, it will be whatever key is said there. And this will automatically teleport you into the helm. Now, before we talk about all these different things over here, we should actually speak with the NPC who's directly outside, because I first want to tell you what you're going to want pieces of 8 for. Pieces of 8 is a currency that you can spend at a black market that you're going to use the NPC over here at St. Anne. It's going to be this lady, Yanita Nara, and if you open up the black market after you do the quest, now here's where you're going to be spending your pieces of 8 that you collect. At the top right, you can see how much you have. I have 809. You'll also get another currency, which I'll show you a little bit later on, which you will build up depending on how much pieces of 8 you build per season. So you're going to spend them here for some resources that some of them are going to be used in blueprints, to craft some of these items. Like, look at these things. Like, the power of this ballista is like 110. These are the end game, pieces of like weapons and even cool armor pieces, but I probably wouldn't go there yet. I'd probably upgrade your ship first, because you can get some of the blueprints here for the next level of everything, that you could normally craft from the blacksmith. Everything here is one step higher. It's the strongest weapons and armor that you can get in the game for, well, all of your ships and everything. So this is something you're going to have to progress towards if you want to reach endgame and become powerful. So now that you know where to spend it, let's go ahead and talk about how to get it. So we're going to go into the smuggler's hideout, which is where we teleported with the C key earlier. Now on St. Anne, you have the distillery, but if you go to Loch Pinjara, the other den, you'll have the laboratory instead. And this is where you're going to be making, illegal goods that you're going to, trade for money. So here we're going to go ahead and provide the materials. We're going to make White Skull Rum at this location, and this is going to take sugarcane. Right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to process this. This does take real time. This is 43 minutes to make 172 of these. So you're always going to want to have as many of these going as possible, and you can collect it from here once they're done. Once you do have a set amount, you can actually go to the order registry. So this book over here, interact with it. You'll see here is where you're going to be getting your daily orders. So every in-game day, I think it's like maybe every hour and a half or every 2 hours. I'm not actually sure how long a day is in this game, but it seems to be like just over an hour or something, because that's how often I had these reset when I was doing them. So essentially, if you look at these quests, they're all pretty much, take a Blue Lotus Opium or White Skull Rum and deliver it to Fort Louis at the bottom of the map over here. So we're going to take it from St. Anne. We're going to sail all the way here. Now you should know that once you do take an order, you're going to get hunted by the rogue warships 2 at a time, pretty much every like 30 seconds as you sail down here, like every 30 seconds of traveling, I mean. And those ships will also drop like sugarcane and the resources that you need to craft the White Skull Rum and the Blue Lotus Opium. So defeating those rogue ships is very important. You also get a ton of infamy for doing this. I talked about it in a recent video that farming those rogue ships is actually one of the best farms in the game to raise your infamy rank, as well as getting all of these resources to, keep your helm going. A smart thing to do is actually take all of these orders at once, but you should know once you do take these orders, you do get marked, which is that, annoying thing that pops up on the screen a lot. And that's what makes the rogues hunt you. So if you do have one of these orders, the rogues are always going to hunt you until you finish, and you will also not be able to use fast travel once you pick up an order. So you can't go boom, pick up and fast travel nearby here to finish the thing. Make sure you're starting from a location that, is like closest to it. To accept the order, you're just going to press this button over here. You can also see how much of the resource that you have in question. I got to deliver 67. I've got 476. So I have got more than enough. I'm going to go ahead and accept this order. It's going to tell you and warn you about the fast travel. Go ahead and accept all 4 of them at once, because you can deliver all 4 of these at once to make the currency over here. These are the rewards that you're getting for each one. So you're going to get like almost 300, just over 300 of the pieces of 8 just for delivering all of those resources to the location at the bottom of the map or wherever it says it goes. Currently, they're all at the same place. Now, before I demonstrate this in the video, I'm actually going to show you how to access this. So open up your map, go to your journal by pressing this key at the top left, G. Now here you can track how much you actually need, and you don't actually have to put it in your cargo right now because this stuff does weigh a lot. It's very, very heavy. And if I hold the Z key at the bottom right, you can actually access your ship. And from here, you can manage your cargo and you can, move things off of your ship or onto your ship as you so please. And this is where you're going to go ahead on the right hand side and you're going to find the, Blue Lotus Opium and your White Skull Rum to put the right amounts into your inventory so that you can deliver them. Now, you don't have to actually do it from the outpost. You can actually sail close to the point. For example, because we're going to Fort Louis right over here, we can actually just straight up sail all the way south to Fort Louis, which is an outpost, and we can use our cash and our cargo hold there, put those items into our inventory, and then complete the orders. You will just have to put a mark on Fort Louis so that you can see it on the map, and then let's go ahead and sail there and we'll just pick up the stuff along the way. We will still get attacked by the rogue ships, even though we don't have the, resources on our ship. It's a safe way to travel. And this is what the rogue warships look like. There's always a big one, there's always a small one, and they have, they have silver chests, they have silver, they have food, they have commodities, and they also have helm materials like the sugarcane and stuff to make all those different things. So I highly recommend killing them on your way, especially if you want to keep your helm going nice and smooth. Here you'll see we're arriving at Fort Louis right now. We've killed a bunch of ships along the way. We're going to disembark, arrive at the outpost. Now from here, I can actually open up my cache by holding Z, and if I go to manage cargo, I should be able to pull my stuff, my Blue Lotus Opium, and we can go ahead and transfer to cargo. I can't actually hold that much, so I'm gonna actually have to put some stuff in my inventory from here. So just, pack this nice and safely away because it's so heavy. And as soon as you are on the outpost with that stuff in your cargo on your ship, technically, which you can cheese by putting it on your ship right now, after you've reached the island, you're just going to go ahead and you're going to run until you find the NPC with the mark. As you can see at the top of my screen right now, it's pointing towards them. They're usually at the big settlement of people here, and go ahead and speak with the person, the overseas smuggler here. And you'll see that we can hand in our quest now that we've done, right? I've got the Blue Lotus Opium. I can go ahead and submit, boom, and claim my pieces of 8 just like this. So that is one way that you can get pieces of 8 pretty easily. You just have to keep making the opium and the White Skull Rum. And as soon as you've handed in all of those quests, you will have plenty of silver to actually use fast travel. You don't have to sail all the way back. Literally 600 silver to fast travel back to St. Anne, or even go to Tilok Pinjara for your next one, which I'll actually go there to show you the differences between the different dens, because the other two things are the same, but the laboratory and the distillery are quite different. So fast travel here is 890. Honestly, that's nothing compared to the silver we just made, especially since we don't want to sail for 25 minutes to get here. On Tilok Pinjara, you can find the helm at the top right over here, this location right over there, or alternatively, you can press that key, holding down the C key to teleport there instantly, so you don't have to, run around a lot. So you will notice the biggest difference between this one and the one at St. Anne is this is called a laboratory. And instead of making White Skull Rum, you're going to be making the, Blue Lotus Opium over here. So make sure that this is constantly working as well with all the poppy that you collected and the sugarcane you collected for St. Anne to make the Skull White Rum. You can also pick up the 4 orders over here, but it's obviously a lot better to do it from St. Anne, because if you look at the distance from St. Anne to where we had to deliver it was really close. Whereas if we do it from here, we've got to sail all the way down to the bottom. It's gonna take forever. So pick up your orders at the order registry at St. Anne because of the distance of where you're traveling. In the future, this location might change, so pick the den that is closer to the location that you want to do it from, because you cannot fast travel and it's really slow to travel far. Now the supply network, which is the big map on the left of this over here, is actually a way to find easier ways to get the resources like poppy and sugarcane so that you can make more of the, the opium and the Skull White Rum. White Skull Rum, I mean. Now you will notice that these amounts aren't particularly high or crazy, and you will have realized that hunting the rogue ships was actually a lot quicker, because now you would have to pick this up over here and you'd have to sail to this location on the map, spend 1,200 silver to buy 96 poppy. You could pretty much just pick up one of the orders, kill a ton of rogue ships, and you should get like, you know, this amount pretty easily. Like, I have not been doing these supply deals at all because I've been getting all of my resources from the rogue ships that I defeat. Alternatively, if you want a ton, you can go to the attack section over here where you can attack certain locations. Right now, these are pretty weak, but there's some where sometimes you can get like 700 and it's actually attacking a fortress. And it does recommend you do it with other players because these are fortresses that are like level 15 or so that can get really, really difficult. So you'd have to be like super careful. Again, I still think it's easier to hunt rogue ships, you know, by having an order active. Okay, so the next way to make pieces of 8 is completely different from those ones that we just did. It's by using the Empire, the Helm Empire. It's the big table over here with the chair. There is a lot going on here. This is a very complex system, and it also looks like it's seasonal. You can see here it has a 94-day reset time where obviously it's going to reset all of my progress. Now you'll see here it gives you a map that is divided up into the 3 regions, the coast of Africa, the Red Isle, and the, you know, East Indies. There's nothing currently in the open seas because, well, there's nothing there. You'll see that you start out with the Red Isle unlocked. The coast of Africa, you can unlock it when you spend 5,000 pieces of 8. Yeah, no thank you. And the East Indies, 5,000 as well to unlock it. We don't care. If I zoom into the Red Isle that we currently have unlocked, you'll see that we have fast travel points, which is nice and convenient, and you can fast travel directly from here. And we will be doing so because we're going to be wanting to unlock these different manufactories. So this is a location I haven't unlocked. This is one that I have unlocked, right? You can see these ones with the yellow with the red exclamation marks, and this one over here that's full. These are things that you can, you know, unlock by doing takeover opportunities. You can see at the bottom left of the screen, in 1 minute 48 seconds, takeover is going to happen, which means 4 of these locations are going to be available to be PvP'd over, I think for 4 people. And whoever wins gets to unlock the location for their, you know, their empire over here. And then once you do unlock a location, you'll see here, you can upgrade it so that it has a higher production and a storage size. Basically what this does is it generates pieces of 8 over time. You can see here, mine generates 25 pieces of 8 over an hour. But it doesn't just do it automatically. You have to fund it. And by fund, and that's why it has the red exclamation right now. So you can see if I press the spacebar key, I can fund it. It's going to cost 500 silver, and I fund the White Skull Rum. Boom. And now you'll see it's funded for 60 minutes. So for 60 minutes, it's going to generate the 25 pieces of 8, you know, and you can also track its progress. Right now, it's like halfway. And this will go until it reaches its storage size, which you can see here is 45. So as soon as this has 45 pieces of 8, it will be ready, much like how this one is over here. It says storage full. I can go ahead and sail here, pick up the pieces of 8, and then once you have those pieces of 8, you actually have to deliver it to St. Anne, and you will get attacked by rogue ships along the way. But once you get to St. Anne, the points or those coins will be turned into your currency at the top right. So it's a whole system, and you know, the more you get into it, the more places you unlock, the more confusing it can get, and you have to fund these things every hour to make sure they're, you know, keeping up progress. So it's not something you can just forget about. It's something you have to actively track. And now, just in time, we're going to be tracking our next takeover opportunity to show you how to unlock these different points, right? So here it's going to happen. Boom, you're going to get like 5 notifications. These notifications, these hostile takeover, they can get really annoying with how often they pop up because it's going to show you for each location. So 1, 2, it's going to be like that one, then that one, then that one. Now, right now, it's only showing 4 locations, this one, and this one. You're going to have to do this every 30 minutes because every 30 minutes, a opportunity is going to arise. And I usually pick one where I think the least amount of players are going to be. Right now, you can see there's a player here who's doing Helm Wager, which means if you fight him, you basically, you know, lose your pieces of 8 if he wins, or you take his if you win. Now, for these hostile takeovers, you'll see it starts in 5 minutes. You're going to have to pick a location. You can hover over them. You can see there's different levels. This is a level 2 one. It has locations that produce higher amounts. You can see this one has 28 pieces of 8 per hour, whereas a level 1, for example, has 25, and a level 4 has 31. So the higher location, probably more competitive in terms of the players that are going to be there, and also the ships that you need to battle when you're there. I'm going to show you in a second once we go do one. What you can do from here is actually hover over the event. You can see there is a join event option on the right hand side. Remember, this is PvP, so you're competing with other players, but players aren't going to be at every single one of these locations. So try find one that doesn't have players. If I join this event here, it will actually mark the enemies that are near around. Right now you can see there's no enemies near it. If I go ahead and I quit this one, right? So I'll leave that one and then I join this one, we can see if there's enemy ships around here, and you can see, boom, there's Phil Deluxe. He's doing this one. So I'm gonna have to fight him if I wanna do this one. I don't wanna do that. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna quit, and we can check this one over here. It looks like this player is going straight for this one. If I join this event, no doubt he's going to be, yep, he's got 2 competitors going for that location. So I'm not going to do that one. I'm rather going to go fight for this level 2 over here. If I go back to this location here, you can see there is another ship that's heading for this location. Unfortunately, it is a PvP event, and sometimes you will have to fight people, other times you won't. I'm going to go ahead and use this fast travel point here so that I can sail to this location, right click to mark it, and let's fast travel to Fort Louis so that we can cut the distance. Instead of, taking 30 minutes to get there, we can, basically travel there before the 5-minute timer is up. And here we are at Fort Louis again, and we're just going to go sail around to that location. You can see the event pretty easily by the green circle just before it started, and once it actually does start, it goes red. I'm sure you've probably seen it around if you've been playing endgame or been playing recently with high-level players in the server. You'll see these like big red circles and you're probably wondering what the hell they are. Those are hostile takeovers that people are actually fighting each other to, dominate and, beat the scoreboard. If I press X, you can see on the right-hand side, the participants for this one is right now it's me. I got to get into the zone to actually compete, and it starts in 1 minute and 40 seconds or so. It seems the other player who was coming here has decided to not pursue it. He's disappeared off of the participant list, which I'm not complaining about, but yeah. This is a PvP event. It's basically, you will have to sink other ships that keep spawning in here, and whoever sinks the most and does the most damage and raises their progress bar the fastest will win this as a location in their empire. You'll see the event is starting in 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, and it is going to begin. Now it goes red, it's active, and you can see there's a percentage bar loading next to my name. Once mine hits 100%, or whoever's hits 100%, they win and own this location from then on. Now the percentage goes up naturally over time. You can see the takeover ends in 6 minutes or whatever the timer is, and you'll see there will be ships that will appear with the red icon above them attacking, and when you defeat these, your timer goes up faster, and that's what you're basically trying to accomplish in this. And you can see this one is level 6 because we're doing a really low level one, and it's super easy to do. And you'll see our percentage right now is at 97, 98, it's just about to hit 100%. It's probably going to hit it before I even get to shoot that enemy over there. And boom, 100, and you can see we have now successfully taken over the location. Now this place is ours, which is, just like that. And now you have to return to the Helm at the den so that you can fund this location and begin the process of, well, farming the resources over time. So back at the Helm, return to the Empire table overview. And now you'll see we have the new location unlocked at the bottom left over here, and we can actually go ahead and fund this by pressing the spacebar. I'm not going to upgrade its thing. I don't want to spend the 200 pieces of 8 to upgrade it so that it makes 1 piece of 8 more. And now we funded it and it's ready to, make progress. Now let's look at this one that's full, and let's show you what the process of getting this back to a den looks like. So here's the location of where our storage is full. We can go ahead and fast travel over here, or you can sail there directly, whichever you want. It's just that some of these locations might be very far and you're going to be doing a lot of sailing without purpose. You really want to be sailing mostly when you're being hunted by the rogues so that you can, well, steal their, loot. So here's the place. You can see it's full. If I interact with it like you normally would with the settlement, you'll see now you can collect the profit over here. So boom. Now I've got the 45 pieces of 8, but it doesn't immediately go to your tally over here. You actually have to now take it to a den to basically check it in, like hand it in to make sure it's safe. So now you head to either Saint Anne or Telok Penjara, whichever is closer, and you will get attacked by enemy ships. As you can see, like this one is just spawned in and is going to immediately attack me to try fight me for my pieces of 8, even though it's just 45 of them. Leave me alone, dude. And here we are at Saint Anne. We can go ahead and disembark, and that's going to go ahead and, bank our pieces of 8 and put it to our currency. And we should now have over 1,000. You'll see here, pieces of 8 secured, right? Cool, perfect. And also your rank for that goes up. Let's talk a bit about that. Let's go back to the Helm. Okay, so in the Helm, in this table over here by the Empire, there's a whole different system at play here that you might not have noticed at first. At the very top of the screen, there's leaderboards, which you compete with other players for how much, how many pieces of 8 did you make this season. The seasonal reset is 94 days, so you have 94 days to get as much as you can. Right now I have 973 and I'm 18,315 in terms of the player list. You can also see when you reach certain thresholds, like when you get to 10,000, you get this other currency, you get 350 of it. That currency over there that I have 50 of, this is how you get that currency. And this is not only by season, there is a weekly one as well. So if I go weekly, you can see here, once I reach 1,200, I'm going to get 20 of those, that currency. And every week you get to, restart this tier and grow it from the bottom up to get a lot of this currency, which of course is used to spend at that same store I showed you at the beginning of the video. You also have upgrades that you can upgrade for your operations, right? So all upgrades will be reset at the end of the season. I don't know why it says 10 days here and the other place it says 94 days. I don't know if that's a bug or something, but you'll see there is a bunch of different tabs of things that you can use to upgrade. Some of them are for different areas. This is like increase the bonus duration of future supply runs by 2 minutes. I'm not entirely sure what that refers to. This one boosts the profits from the, the actual manufactories, like the one that we just came from, by 4%, but this is only for the East Indies, so that's the top right of the map. This one is for the coast of Africa, so that's the left of the map. Here is for the Red Isle, so this is everything that we did. If I want to increase my profits by 4%, which means that they, they make extra amounts of coins by 4%. It's like not that much. It's like 1 piece of 8, basically, what I currently have. And this costs 50 pieces of 8 to get that. I mean, at the end of the day, it might be a good one. It does say 1 out of 22. So if I go ahead and upgrade this, it probably gets you another one. Reduces the cost of producing contraband from sugarcane by 2%. Yeah, okay, so you can do a bunch of upgrades for all of these different things. For right now, I don't know if this is like super important. And you also get like smuggler skills and master distillery. So, and this gives you a 10% chance to produce an additional opium or skull rum. But there's also like 24 of these. So maybe this one's kind of not that great, but the next one might be. I don't know, there's 24 of these. That's just insane to me. Of course, having all of these would be perfect to, dominate the leaderboard if you want to win in the long run. But ultimately, I'm just doing this so that I can unlock the cool cannons and become stronger. And that's pretty much everything I think you guys need to know about how the Helm works and how to get pieces of 8 currency, as well as that other currency that I actually don't know its name of, in Skull and Bones. I hope you guys enjoyed this guide. Thank you so much for watching.